As you probably know, I use the wiki an awful lot for my information. This is a particular page on the wiki that I used and developed for this presentation today. And I also use it to store information that I will find useful in the future, and also that other people may also find useful. So what I'm going to talk about today is what is a wiki and how is it used, and uh, how you can set one up for free, and I'll actually set one up for free. So wikis are used for public knowledge sharing, like for encyclopedias, Wikipedia being the prime example, fan communities, and specialized reference sites. That's where I kind of fit in, but I talk more about cooking, travel, and specific hobbies and other information that I found on my wiki. It's used inside organizations for employee onboarding. We'll explore that a little bit later today. IT and technical documentation, project documentation, and software development. And there are other uses for it. If you want to collect information about a given topic when you're preparing to do a project, you might set up, that would be project documentation, wouldn't it? That's where you would set up different pages where a variety of people can contribute to these pages. It's used in education for classrooms where students can collaboratively work together, also on projects in organizations. Used in university departments, libraries and archives, governments and nonprofits, specialized uses for legal teams, medical institutions. The common thread is that it's something for people to collaboratively create and maintain knowledge that many people need to use over time. So, what software is out there? Well, you're familiar with Wikipedia, I'm sure. I know that's one that I use quite often. It's like an encyclopedia, and it's edited by millions. I don't know how many people have edited it. I know that I have made a change to it once. And there's Wikia fandom. I didn't even know this one existed. So there are a number of different engines that drive wikis. The one that Wikipedia uses is called the Media Wiki. There's also DokuWiki, and wiki.js. There is also Confluence, Notion, Bookstack, and others. Let's take a look at some of these here. This is another page on my wiki where I put this information, but this tells about the different free wiki software. DokuWiki is a no database flat file wiki that stores all content as plain text files on disk. This makes it very easy to maintain because we're dealing with text files. We're not dealing inside a database. So it's easy to back up. For instance, if I want to back it up, I just go into FileZilla and copy all my files down. And also migrate. For instance, if I wanted to take that wiki and put it in another spot under a different URL, I can do that. There's ways that you can set up DokuWiki so that it runs on your computer only and doesn't need to have the internet at all. So you can have your own wiki. In fact, that's how I got started with all this. Years ago, I was working for a company and a guy told me about something called Wiki on a Stick. This is a wiki that fits onto a memory stick, and you can put information in there, which he was doing, and I started doing. I was working in telecommunications, and I found there are a lot of little pieces of information that I needed, so I created a little wiki on this stick. As time went on, I realized that the stick was getting kind of small and the information was getting kind of big. And I looked around at different wikis, and that's where I came to a page like this one here and went to DokuWiki. The strengths of DokuWiki is that there's no database required. It's a very low barrier to set up and maintain. I will talk a little bit about that later. It has built-in access controls and authentications. For instance, if you get to my wiki, unless I give you a login and permission, you can't make changes to it. Also, I have parts on my wiki that you can't even see. It has, now you're going to look for it. I shouldn't have said that. It has built-in access. I mentioned that. It has a large plugin and template ecosystem. So while this is the way it looks right here, there are other ways you can set it up to appear to somebody. And um, there's a lot of plugins that you can add. If you'll notice at the top here, it has this page was last changed yesterday at 1 o'clock, roughly in the afternoon, and it's been referenced one time today, twice yesterday, and 9 times since I created it at the end of April. You can put that kind of information in. That's all from um, plugins or extensions, as they call it. There's a full text search out of the box. So at the top, you can do a search for something. Up here, I'm pointing at the top. You can put in a search. You can look at recent changes. There's a media manager and a site map. And I haven't logged in on this particular one, on this particular device. So you're seeing what I'm seeing, or you would see what I'm seeing here. And there's no cap on page version. It just keeps saving them so you can keep backing up. So if you make a change and you say, my goodness, I really don't like this. I want to go back to something in the past. Or maybe you deleted a section last year and you want to pull that section back, you can get it at that. It's really kind of neat and powerful. It's less suited for large multi-user wikis. So for me, I'm the main user right here, but uh, the user interface might be looking dated, and it's not designed so much for real-time collaboration. And the reason for that is that it's last in is first out, so that if I'm editing a page and Drew is editing the same page, whoever saves it last will overwrite whoever didn't save it last's changes. There's also a media wiki. It's another open source platform, and it powers Wikipedia, so it's pretty good. It's very powerful, large scale public wikis. There's lots of extensions, but it requires a database and more server resources than DokuWiki. It's more complex to set up and maintain, and it's an overkill for if you want to set up your own private wiki. There's wiki.js, which is a modern open source platform built on Node.js. It's an excellent modern UI, familiar, a modular architecture, flexibly edited, handles 5 database backends, Postgres, MySQL, MariaDB, which is about the same as this. It has a dark mode. I guess that's when the white turns to dark and the black turns to white. I'm not sure of that. But it requires Node.js and a database, and it has more infrastructure than DokuWiki. For when I'm setting up a new wiki, as I've done for this class, all I do is I upload it, and my ISP automatically assigns it PHP, and it runs after I've uploaded it. I'll show you that too. There's Bookstack. I'm not going to get involved in this too much. There's XWiki. You can look at this later. This is all online. There's TiddlyWiki, which is something I had considered, but it forms a simple HTML file. This must be the wiki on a stick as it grew up. So this might, if you're looking for getting started, you might be interested in this, although it looks like it has a learning curve and has a strange UI. There's FOS, free and open source wiki. And these are the quick comparisons. The ones that don't have a database would be of most interest in my book, because then you don't have another thing to worry about. So DokuWiki sits in a sweet spot among the free wiki options. It's the most administrator-friendly of all the self-hosted choices, with the lowest barrier to set up and maintenance. It's flat file storage, large plugin ecosystem, and built-in access controls make it a strong default for internet team wikis. And I used AI to generate this. Are there any questions here?
Are you logged into the wiki that you've chosen?
Since it's the text files that are stored, I can easily download the wiki, take those text files, and move them to another wiki if I wanted. I haven't done that because I haven't found a need to. Well, I'm gonna have a lozenge. My throat is bothering me.
Oh,
So
Hey, Steve,
yeah,
while you're doing that, I just happened to look at Wiki.js, and if I try to do anything with it, I'm getting a block that says that the website is not, my browser is not happy with the website. Is there anything special about that place that I should?
I'm not sure. Frankly, the main research and experience that I have is with DokuWiki,
Yeah,
so I can't really comment on the others. If you were, Peter, if you were looking for your own wiki to set up, you might want to try what is that, TiddlyWiki? Yes, you might want to
No, no.
try starting with a TiddlyWiki, but it's a single
yeah,
HTML file, which is a single point of failure.
yeah, I understand. I was just curious. I just decided to take a look at it, and that's where I ended up. So I thought I'd share.
Okay. Okay. Software is out there. So let's take a look. What is DokuWiki? Let's go to this particular page here. This is DokuWiki's page. I'm sorry about that. This is DokuWiki's page, and it tells about it, why use it. It's easy to install and use, low system requirements, built-in access control lists. So you can create logins for people and restrict them to certain areas of your wiki. A large variety of extensions. I'll show you the ones that I find most interesting. It supports a lot of languages, and it's device independent because it's running up on the internet in your ISP. So you can load it here. I'm on a MacBook. You can go to your Windows machine, on your phone, on your tablet. All of them, any of them that can go to a web page can get to this wiki. It's customized by configuration, plugins, templates, our skins or themes. There's a lot of tips and tricks. Here are some use cases and the community. I should join the community.
Steve,
So
the languages, are they interchangeable? If I put something in English and somebody decides who speaks Tamil will open up the wiki page, is it automatically translated into Tamil, or just whatever language you put in, it's happy with the language?
it doesn't do the translation. It would accept your language. And this is the page here where you can download the latest wiki version. Okay. And it's available. These are the languages. I've never tried it because I don't speak any of these languages. I don't speak um,
Have English in there?
interlingua. Say again?
Do they have English in there?
I hope so. Right there.
There we go.
Let's do it.
There we go. No,
You
so
can get all of them.
my sense,
I generally
yeah,
go
my
ahead.
sense what that means is they simply store the characters as UTF-8, and that way any common language can be stored in the wiki space.
Yes. That's as far as I know. So this is the download page. This is where you can download it. I'll show you what it looks like after it's downloaded. I chose a stable version. They call it Librarian. They have an older, they're going, let's see, Chaos, Librarian, they're going K to L. So they're going through the alphabet, which is kind of neat. I think uh, Mint Linux does a similar type of thing.
Please give me the
And you,
unstable adventure.
That's right.
so you can choose a number of different plugins, which we would advise you would choose.
You want
You
to
can
ask
put
next year?
CAPTCHA. Excuse me?
No. I was making an aside. I'm sorry.
Okay. We would recommend installing CAPTCHA so that you can make sure that robots aren't getting in to try to make changes to your wiki. An upgrade plugin is really handy because it makes it very easy for you to upgrade your wiki. It's a wrap-in plugin that adds syntax for various color boxes, columns, and some of your styles. Translation, that's if you want, here you go. If you want the multilingual wiki, I guess there's a way you can have it translate to a different language, which is kind of neat. Video share and gallery, these are popular plugins. If I, this it? Okay, here are some of the features of the wiki, and this goes into more. This is once again on the DokuWiki page. It tells about some of the features. I'm not going to go into those here. But if we take a look down at the bottom here, these are some of the plugins, most of the plugins that I find very useful. An access counter, ACL manager, which is access control list, a block quote, cell backgrounds, changes, so you can list the most recent changes to the wiki. On my wiki, there's a place where you can take a look and see what's changed recently. Color, CSV plugin. You can create a CSV file, upload it, and have it come in and appear as a table. I've done that when I was doing some oil provider research. A gallery plugin creates a gallery of images. So you create a namespace, put all your pictures there, create a gallery, and it'll automatically appear a gallery in your wiki. Hidden is handy when you have text that you want to normally hide, like on the group wiki page. You can click a button and expand and see what's inside it, and you click a button and hide it again to keep your view a little bit quieter. Let's see, PDF.js, real handy. In fact, I used this just a couple days ago when I had an issue with something. I took a whole bunch of pictures, and how can I ship a 50 megabyte set of files to somebody? Well, what I did was I created a page on my wiki that had all of the pictures in a PDF and put the PDF there, and they can scroll through the PDF and see them. It's very, very handy. I worked with to-do lists a little bit. Any other questions so far? Up there. Okay. Installing it. You can, if you're going to install it, you can either host it yourself or use a hosted service. I'm doing it myself. So what you do is you go to the download page, which we just came from. That's this page over here. And select the options and download. You'll get a TGZ file. You expand that. It'll expand into a directory. You create a place for your wiki to live. So what I did was I have a URL, smystuff.com, and I created a subdirectory on there that I uploaded the wiki to. You copy the expanded files to this place, and you browse to install .php on that space. So here's what you get when you download it. This is the DokuWiki directory, and you would take all of these files in here and copy them up. It came, you can see right here, it came as this tarball file right here. It's only 5 megs. Can you believe that? I can believe that. It's interesting. But it expands to 18. So it comes with these directories, and you can see here's the index, here's the install. So you download, download, which gives you the tarball. You expand it, which gives you this directory called DokuWiki. Then you create a place for your wiki to live, copy it, and browse to it. So when you do that, and you go to that, right here, you run this. This is my number 2 wiki, install PHP. I hope you can read this. I apologize for the size. But I give it a name, and then I put in a user and password for the super user. You need that, so that's a person That's the login that has full control over the wiki. And then you decide upon your license and save, and your wiki is set up. In fact, that's what this is here. This is number one. This was number two. So I'm trying stuff out. Here's the number one. And the way you get to that here is you go to wiki.lctg.us, and that will forward to this page.
Hey, Steve, on the page before you had a bunch of licenses. What are the advantages or disadvantages of using any of those licenses?
Hmm. 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 No. It's good. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. I pre-thought that question. Here are the different licenses.
Always thinking ahead.
Public domain,
We
attribution.
had
They're saying.
Remember the email you sent me?
we
Say
had a
again?
presentation just a short time ago about various licenses, and these, almost all of them are within the content of that presentation about what's a
Okay.
public domain license, a GPL, a license.
I think
and
you
several
even did it.
others. I did a presentation in which difference between the open source and the more closed source licenses were explained.
Yep.
And it has a lot to do with attribution and a lot to do with ownership and copyright.
Right. You did it in the
Okay.
context of copyright, I believe.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, we had copyright as well.
So back to this page here, Class Wiki 101. It's linked with that information. So now we come over here, and now we're on the wiki. This is the wiki I created, and I created a page that has shortcuts, but extensions that I find useful, which I put on the other page, and then I'm going to create these spaces right here. Do you want me to create the spaces, or do you want me to talk more about the syntax? Do you want me to create these things, or more about the syntax?
You can
I didn't
create
get
one
the-
page.
All right. Now I get to in my setup, I didn't include that.
Then Steve, then go ahead and do whatever you want to do. I didn't mean to
Oh, I'm going-
sidetrack.
That's fine. Let's do the recipes. So here, let's take a look inside this file right here. This is the inside of the file we just saw. It has the hyphens here mean that it's a title. 5 hyphens means it's a high-level title. The text here is just the text, and it automatically formats that. Preview. Lets you see what it is as we're working on it. So remember, I said this demonstrating is a large caption, a large title here. The data was created, start page. So this is all it takes. What you're seeing here is what it takes to create a wiki page. So I have selected DokuWiki shortcuts, which is a page I created, extensions I found useful. And here I've decided I'm going to create a file called a area on recipes and an area on staff. And then I'm going to show you how to handle something I did from AI. This is the information for when it was last changed, which you can see down here. And these come from FS, file size, no cache. These last mod, these come from extensions that I've added. So cancel this. Now let's create the recipes. This topic doesn't exist yet. So I'm going to create this page. And this is going to be a recipe wiki. And welcome to this is all text that's going to be there. It's a heading, is what I said. Asterisks like this mean that they're bulleted lists. If you change these to hyphens, they become a numbered list. So now if we preview it, we can see what it looks like. Soups, salads, desserts, tomato soups, all linked to a place that doesn't exist. So this is like a top down. I've decided that I'm going to have soups, salads, and desserts, and I'll add them later. And we're going to add them now. So I'll save this here. And let's do cancel. Let's do soups. The page doesn't exist. Create the page. Nothing unusual here, but there's a link to a soup page. It goes to recipes back to start, back to the recipes page. Save this. And let's do the classic tomato soup. On this page, I've put something at the top that's going to tell me when it was last modified. I've been typically putting that on pages. Classic tomato soup is a major title. There's 6 hyphens, equal signs. There's 5, so it's a lower title. These are the ingredients, the instructions on the list. It's a numbered list. And then I have links back to the soups page and to the recipes page. And now we have created a classic tomato soup. But we go back to the recipes page and we have one more recipe. Jill's favorite chocolate chip cookie. This is a recipe I downloaded from the internet. The page information here, the title, the spaces around it mean that it's going to start a new paragraph. If you don't want to do that, you put the backslash space, but I can also do this. Maybe you didn't follow what I did here. When I preview this page, it's all it's a from. Yeah, the from comes on a separate line. If I don't have this backslash, it puts it all in the same line. But if I want it to be on a separate line, I have 2 ways of doing that. Whoops. And this is what the page will look like when I save it.
What was the difference between this recipe format and the one before where you didn't have the ingredients in the table?
Just that.
So where's the table indicator on this? The 100%?
Oh, good point. That's a good point. Make this a little bigger. Tables are surrounded by the vertical slashes. So the fact that I have a vertical slash, a 1, and a vertical slash, cup flour, and a vertical slash means that it's going to be a part of a table, 1 and cup flour, 1 cup flour, 3/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon. And that's how it does the table. This up here is advanced. This up here is advanced information that tells how to space out the table. It's not required, but it's a table capability. So this is where it's a table. This is what makes it a table. The fact that the spaces around it, two spaces and at least two spaces after, means that it's centered. So that if I put two spaces in here, then it'll put the cup flower on the far right because I told it to do that. Okay, I'm kind of jumping around. Am I making any sense here?
Yeah,
You are, but where is the syntax stored so one could find those things?
did you hear the question, Steve?
Sure did.
Okay,
You know the answer. What does that say? I can't see the letters there.
DokuWiki syntax for tables. Another way, let's see. DokuWiki features. No, free wikis. Simple syntax. There's a page on syntax. Basic text forwarding links. This is a DokuWiki page under syntax links. InterWiki shares, image links. Come on, tables, media files, formats, lists.
So
This
the
is a
whole
list.
body of information is in one place.
It's on their site. You can find it very quickly.
Okay,
Quoting.
I got
Oh,
it.
look at all the different ways of quoting. Tables, right there.
But you can see all your
You put-
capabilities.
That's right here. And if you want to do something, there's probably a way to get it done. And back over to the wiki number 1 that we're talking about. If I go back to the recipes page, I note that I don't have a desserts page, that the only way to get to it is from here. So what I wanted to do was create a desserts page. And to do that, I go to desserts, which brings you to a page that doesn't exist. And you see that it's recipes, desserts, start. That's the start of that particular area. And you create the page. Desserts, links to recipes, desserts, Jill Biden, chalk chip. And I save that. And now I have that page. And if I go back to the recipes page, there's now desserts. So if I go to soups, it goes to recipes, soups, start, recipes, soups, start. If I go to desserts, it goes to desserts, recipes, desserts, start. And these are the links directly to those pages. Questions so far?
Yeah, you said that you were self-hosting. Why does one self-host versus host externally?
Well, when you host externally, you're generally going to be paying for it, and you would have less control. I have full control over what goes in on my wiki. This particular wiki is wide open. You'll notice that I'm making changes to it, and you can do the same thing. You should be able to get into this particular wiki and make changes and try it out if you want.
What happens if your computer is either sleeping, hibernating, or off?
it's actually in the cloud, but it's
Yes.
your URL, correct?
You're going by URL. As I said, the URL for this is wiki lctg.us. And that takes you to the main page.
That's hosted on one of your computers, right, Steve?
No, it's hosted up on the internet. It's I use DreamHost for my internet service provider. This is hosted on DreamHost. As I said, this is open. I have two other wikis here that could be used. If you would like to give a wiki a try, you're welcome to use this because they don't put any limits on the amount of use that I have for my at my ISP. So if you'd like to play with one of these, let me know and we can arrange that. So
Can I ask a question out of curiosity,
yeah.
Steve? What are those four icons on the right that are partially hidden? What do they do? The top one I can see opens up that page. What do the other three do?
This looks at old revisions of the page, backlinks, and back to top. Excuse me. So if we go to recipes, okay, we can edit the page. We can look at old revisions. Oh, just one revision. It just created that one. So if we go back to recipes, backlinks, who calls it? This recipes page is linked to by Jill Biden chocolate chip, start, desserts, soups, and soups tomato, and the start page. Those are pages that call this page. And back to top, I mean, you're at the bottom, you go back to the top of the page.
So the backlinks are breadcrumbs to say how you got there. They're just the chain from the start page to this particular page in hierarchical.
Yes.
All links into this page from everywhere.
Right.
Right, as opposed to breadcrumbs.
Yes. So I didn't put a backlink to the main page, so I go to start up here. This is the breadcrumbs, shows me where I've been. So one of the things down here, and one of the neat little features of this is something there, it's over here. That's it. Is the ability to, well, I find it very useful. I want to create a page that talks about hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, and vinegar and uses for them. Excuse me again. Well, what I did was I went to this is Claude, and I created a table inside Claude that talks about hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, and white vinegar and the various uses for them. Well, it's good for blood stains, hydrogen peroxide. It does a little bit if you use white vinegar, and alcohol has no effect on blood stains. But when you're dealing with glass and mirrors, or when you're descaling or doing weed killing, these are very useful. So I'm thinking maybe I'd want to put this into my wiki so that I can use it later. So I go to here, I says, please. I like to be polite to him. Take out the A, although it doesn't care. Then it tells me a little bit about what it did. Copy all this, move it off here, go to the page, edit it, paste, and preview. And there you go. There's the table in the wiki. To me, this is very handy, extremely handy, because many times that I'm doing research, if I'm going to go on flights, or if I'm preparing a trip, or if I've done some research on the use of alcohol and hydrogen peroxide, and I want to be able to get to it at a later time, this is how I can do that. Save it, and there it is. And
Hey, Steve, just for Chuck's, go back to your alcohol table.
Yep.
And can you make the column headers bold, just to show me how to do
Yeah,
that?
sure. it just has a standard bar here, but is a vertical bar. But if what you do is you change that to an up caret, that means that this is a header and that causes everything to be bold. And now if we save this, or we could have previewed it, now you see that they're highlighted as a header.
And it's funny that, while it was cool that Claude did that, it was bolded in Claude, but it didn't pull the bold over into the download.
That's a good point. It also put a lot of bolding on some of the, if you see over here, we'll pull it back. It also did bolding in this particular area here.
Yeah.
And we can do that too by edit the page. It's suppose we want to bold surface disinfecting. Okay, we click the bold. Cutting boards kitchen, we hit the bold. The double asterisks means it's bold. If we want to underline it, we can go up to underline, double underscore. If we want to italicize it, we can go like this. The slashes mean italicized. And now if we preview this, surface, bolding, underline, italic. And I'm going to cancel this one and leave it this way.
And then changing the font, you would do something comparable.
There
Change the
are
font size.
yes, there are some here, let's see. We go like this here. We can go up here, and this is font color, so we can make this red. So put FC for font color around the word this. And now we go to is, and here we can go with the size. We want to make that extra large. So this particular construct here that I'm highlighting, FC means file font color, and I'm specifying it to be this. I could also put the word yellow there or red. So it's RGB, so it's all red, no green, no blue. Here we're doing extra, extra large, or we could just go down here and do large for is, and then go over here for some, and we can choose fonts, and we have two choices. Normally it's sans serif, but we can choose serif. Now, some is not enough, so I'm going to put that over here so you can see it a little bit better. So again, here we have, and I'll just put them on separate lines so you can see the different parts. Font color, the word this, extra large is, and serif, some plain text. This is some plain text. Now, if we want this part here that's in serif to be large, we can copy the same thing in here. And then put in the file size like this. So now what we've done is we're using serif font and extra large.
Does it take the usual HTML shortcuts? So instead of using backslash, what was it, FS and backslash or slash FF, can you just do slash without the tag, the actual tag name?
I'm not sure what you're saying. These are
Okay.
special codes
Right.
that are used by the wiki. Go ahead.
Okay. So it looks like it's HTML tags. So why don't you just change on where it says file color on where it says slash FC on the right side?
Yeah.
Take off the FC. Now preview it. No.
No.
All right. So it's not true HTML. All right.
The language being used resembles Markdown language, which is a bit different from HTML.
Yeah, apparently.
All right, I'm going to get rid of this. Actually, I can get rid of it by doing this. I've made changes. I told it to cancel. It's making sure that I know that it's what I want to do. Any other questions? Back over here, there's namespaces. I just discovered namespaces when I was putting this presentation together. That's where you have the recipes : soups : one, which is handy. I use it for when I'm handling pictures and files for different groups. I showed you about creating and editing a page. If we wanted to go over here to the alcohol peroxide page, if we go to start, if we wanted to add a new page, we just edit this here, and we want to put a we create a new page right there. And it doesn't, nothing happened. It's red because it doesn't have one to go to. But as soon as you go there, it goes to, and you see at the top as this _ Peters _ page. So you can also put another one, giraffe, and it creates another page. So it's easy to create new pages by just changing the format here, or going back up to your start page and putting a new link to it. And as I showed, the link is a double brackets left and right. Back over here, basic formatting. These are some of the hints. And I use some of that. Tables, code blocks are kind of neat. You can use the code blocks to set text apart. Managing files, plugins, and templates. And I think I covered all I need to here. I'm open to any other questions you might have.
That's pretty cool. Thanks, Steve. Anybody questions, comments, issues?
So I know there's a lot of people in the group who are interested in AI and Claude and agents and what they can do. We've had a lot of discussion in the group about that. So I'm just learning more about the interface of AI agents and tools like this. But having had experience running and developing and managing and being excited about these kind of wiki pages, one of the things I know is you can get yourself all tangled up. You start creating a page, like, wow, I can create links and I can structure this thing and I can create an outline. But then you go away from it for a month and you come back and it's kind of a mess. You left a lot of dangling pointers, or you forgot what structure you had in, or you create a page and then you realize, oh, I already created this page. So this is a place where AI can really help out a lot potentially on the kind of managing of your site on your behalf. And I've started to become aware and look into something called MCP. Have you guys encountered that with AI agents and things? It's a kind of universal representation of the kind of knowledge that an AI agent wants to extract from an app.
Not familiar with it. Go ahead.
What does MCP stand for?
MCP.
Stands for MCP?
Model Context Protocol. I always forget that too.
Yeah.
What's
it do?
It's in the chat.
I mean, it's kind of like, HTML is a format for representing things in a way that
Yeah.
presents them on a page. MCP is a way of sort of structuring the knowledge that could be embedded within an app and making it into kind of a universal knowledge representation in very broad terms, glossing over lots of details that an AI agent can dig into. And you could think of it as kind of a universal API for an AI agent to be able to reach into an app and grok what it contains. And so like your contacts database on your Windows system, let's say, it could have a simple MCP representation. It says, I have a group of people and I have first name, last name, address, or et cetera. It's kind of like the semantic description of what knowledge it contains. And then it has a set of basically like rows that represent knowledge in that format. And that's a much more accessible, potentially, in broad terms again, accessible way for an AI agent to have a full understanding and knowledge of what's in your context database than other ways, maybe. Like, or you could export, you could dump your entire context database into a table and then paste it into into Claude or whatever, and then it would know all that stuff. But that becomes a kind of unmanageable solution, and as you get towards larger size databases, and it's also kind of a tedious process where you had to be kind of involved in doing that manually.
Because what I've done is I've taken something like that. I've provided a pointer, if it's hierarchical, a pointer to the top, and I said, write me a script that will reorganize this for me and do X, Y, Z. And it gives me a Python script.
Yeah.
I run the Python script and it shows up the way I want it without doing anything. And like most scripts, it does the same thing all the time. It may be wrong, but it's consistently wrong. And you can correct those kinds of errors, as opposed to the human being, which will forget to do something on one particular row. And where is it? In the middle of a large data set.
So it's helping
So
you.
I just want to point out, can I point out one thing here? You mentioned trying to find the information that you've put in. One of the advantages of the DokuWiki is the ability to do a search based on a term. For instance, I know that at one time in the past, I created some information on different kinds of cinnamon. So I type the word cinnamon in and it finds the page for me.